Today, we are diving into one of the most intense and honestly one of the most compelling homecoming stories ever told. It's the return of Jacob, and it's all right there in Genesis, chapters 31 through 35. This is a journey that is absolutely packed with family drama, divine showdowns, and the reinvention of a man who spent his whole life as a deceiver.
I mean, really, think about that. How do you go back? This is the question that's right at the heart of Jacob's story. 20 years before this, he ran for his life after tricking his own father and literally stealing the family blessing from his twin brother Esau. Now God has called him to return. But going home means facing the very people he wronged and the life he completely blew up.
So here's how we're going to break it all down chapter by chapter. We'll start with his tense escape from his manipulative father-in-law. Then we get to his life-changing struggle with God. After that, the shocking reunion with his brother, a really tragic and violent detour, and finally, that bittersweet journey all the way home.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off after 20 long years of hard labor. Jacob's been working for his uncle, who is also his father-in-law, Laban. He's earned his wives, his children, his wealth, but things have gotten really sour between them, and God tells him it's time to go. So Jacob decides to just flee, but, well, it's not going to be a clean getaway.
This right here shows you just how deep the mistrust runs on both sides. Jacob is furious. He feels like he's been cheated over and over again. And Laban, he accuses Jacob of stealing his household idols. Now, this is a really serious charge. These gods, or teraphim, weren't just religious statues. They could actually act as a claim to the family inheritance. And the crazy part is, Jacob has no idea that his favorite wife, Rachel, is the one who actually swiped them. The whole situation is an absolute powder keg.
So this confrontation, it really could have ended in bloodshed. Laban chases him down for a full week, and when he catches up, he is furious. But God steps in, warning Laban in a dream not to even touch Jacob. So instead of a battle, they make a treaty. They pile up some stones as a witness, a boundary line they both swear they'll never cross to hurt each other. It's a formal and, let's be honest, a necessary end to a really toxic relationship, all sealed with an oath before God.
You know, when you look at it, Jacob couldn't really build his future until he finally dealt with his past. This tense goodbye with Laban wasn't just some family argument. It was him formally cutting ties with a dysfunctional bond. He had to draw a line in the sand, literally and figuratively, to truly start his journey home.
Okay, so Laban is in the rearview mirror, but now Jacob has to face an even bigger fear, his brother, Esau. Remember, the last time he saw him, Esau was talking about killing him. So Jacob sends messengers ahead, hoping for peace. But the news he gets back is absolutely terrifying.
400 men. Now, to Jacob, this does not sound like a welcoming party. This sounds like an army coming for revenge. He is in a complete panic. He splits his entire family, his flocks, everything into two groups, thinking that if one is attacked, maybe the other can escape. And that night, all alone and at his absolute breaking point, he has the encounter that is going to change everything.
Out of nowhere, a mysterious man appears and starts wrestling with Jacob, and they go at it all night long. Jacob, the heel grabber, the supplanter, just holds on for dear life. He figures out pretty quickly this is no ordinary opponent. He's wounded, he's exhausted, but he refuses to let go, demanding a blessing he can't steal this time, but one he has to receive.
And this right here, this is the turning point of his entire life. The divine being gives him a new name. He is no longer Jacob, the deceiver. He is now Israel, one who struggles with God and has prevailed. He walks away with a limp, a permanent physical reminder of that night, but also with a new name and a brand new identity that was forged in conflict.
Jacob's blessing wasn't cheap. It didn't come easy. It was won through a desperate all-night fight. It really suggests that our biggest moments of growth, they don't happen when we avoid our problems, but when we dive in and grapple with them head-on, clinging to the divine until dawn.
So, now, limping but blessed, Israel has to face Esau. The moment he has been dreading for 20 years is finally here. He arranges his family behind him, almost like a defensive formation, bows to the ground 7 times, and just braces for the worst.
I mean, can you just imagine that? 2 decades of guilt, of running, of playing out this violent reunion in his head over and over again. Every single decision he's made has been colored by this deep, deep fear of his brother's, let's face it, justified anger.
But what happens next just shatters every expectation. Esau runs. He doesn't run to attack him. He runs to embrace him. He falls on Jacob's neck, and they both just weep. That army of 400 men, it wasn't an invasion force. It was an honor guard. 20 years of fear just dissolves in a single moment of pure, unbelievable grace.
Jacob's words to Esau here are just stunning. He says that seeing his brother's forgiving face is like seeing the face of God. Think about it. He just finished wrestling with God, and now he sees the divine reflected in his brother's forgiveness. It is an absolutely incredible moment of healing.
The very showdown that Jacob feared the most turned into his greatest experience of grace. It's just a profound lesson that forgiveness, both from people and from God, has this incredible power to redeem our deepest fears and completely rewrite the endings to our most broken stories. But the journey home is not all reconciliation and joy. Just when it seems like Jacob's past is finally resolved, his family's future gets tragically, horribly complicated. They settle down near a city called Shechem, and a dark chapter unfolds that really tests them to their very core. So here's the grim sequence of events. Jacob's only daughter, Dinah, is assaulted. Her attacker then claims he loves her and asks to marry her. In response, Dinah's brothers, Simeon and Levi, they plot this horrific revenge, all under the disguise of a peace treaty. They trick all the men of the city into getting circumcised, and then, while they're weak and recovering, they slaughter every single one of them. Jacob is horrified, not just because of the morality of it, but because their violence has now made his entire family a hated target in the land. This chapter is just a stark warning. The brothers were after what they saw as justice, but it became this brutal, completely disproportionate act of vengeance. It didn't heal their family's honor, it just plunged them into a brand new cycle of deceit and death, and it put their entire future in jeopardy. After the complete disaster at Shechem, God commands Jacob to finish his journey. He tells him to go to Bethel, the house of God, the very same place where he first met God as a young man running away from Esau. It's time to come full circle.
These last steps home are filled with incredible spiritual highs and just devastating lows. At Bethel, he finally gets rid of all those foreign idols that Laban was so upset about, and God reaffirms his new name, Israel, and all the covenant promises. But this renewal is surrounded by grief. First, the death of a cherished family servant, and then, the most crushing blow of all, his beloved wife Rachel dies giving birth. Finally, he reaches his father Isaac and is with him when he dies, bearing him alongside his now reconciled brother Esau.
So Jacob's homecoming wasn't some simple, happy ending. It was this complex tapestry of promises fulfilled, deep, deep grief, and the passing of an era. His return really solidifies the transition from the age of Isaac to the dawn of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, a new beginning that was born from both blessing and sorrow.
And so we end with this thought. Jacob was a deceiver, a runner, a man defined by conflict. But in his wrestling, with his family, with himself, and ultimately with God, he was transformed. He earned a new name. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if the things we wrestle with the most aren't just obstacles to get over, but are the very arenas where we discover who we're truly meant to be?